Hey now, cats, we're back again this week on the Balls from Ellwood show, and it's been a crazy week for us. How you fuckers doing?
Ooh, fuckers, huh?
Yeah.
Man, you must be really feeling it today.
I'm feeling it. I'm in a great mood. I got the finale of Joe Bob, The Last Drive-In tonight. If you're watching this, it happened already. You missed it, sorry. Got a lot to be excited about. Got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. Got a great interview with the legendary Greg Lee of Hepcat. I'm excited to show you guys that. So
pretty cool, and Balls has a pretty cool story from back 20 years ago, 2 decades. Woo!
The salad years,
Good
actually.
stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, and I even have a pic I'll throw up too. So you could see me when I was, skinny and I had a head full of hair, and the world was in front of me, and everything was, ripe for the picking, and then puppy dogs and rivers of chocolate, and I don't know what the fuck happened after that. But anyway, you're gonna love this story anyway. Life takes you.
Life got in the
It
way.
wrestles you to the ground, and it puts its fucking wiener right in your butt.
Oh yeah, it does that sometimes.
It does do that, But other than that, we watched some cool stuff we're gonna talk about.
Oh yeah.
This lady right here has an all-new Depravity Corner with some fucked up story of the week. So let's just get right to it. Xtina, how was your week?
Well, it's been a rough one. Back in the office, there's a skeleton crew. Very busy, very busy. Lots of excitement there, but it's getting me out of the house, I guess. I don't know. It's not that bad. Could be worse. I have a job, right? Can't complain.
True, especially in this crazy, uncertain time.
Absolutely. So I know Balls has been working his balls off, literally. I'm gonna make him. I have a habit of doing that. Every time he takes a drink, I about make him spit his drink out. So it's a fun. I don't even do it on purpose. That's the funniest part about it. Like occasionally, once in a blue moon, but like 90% of the time, I totally don't even realize it, and I about make him spit his pop out his nose. I think once I did. But anyway, aside from that, what else is going on, Balls? What did we watch? Anything exciting?
Yes, we actually have some stuff to talk about. I mean, we're probably gonna feel like a paid advertiser for Quibi at this point. But
yeah.
I have to say, man, another great series we watched. We watched The Stranger. That was a really good series. The whole time I'm watching, I'm like, why does this chick look familiar? And I didn't know to the end. Xtina looked it up. Actually, I think her name's Micah Monroe, and she was the lead chick in It Follows, which, man, was phenomenal. So if you haven't seen that, cats, it was great. And I tell you what's great about it is it's a horror movie, and it's scary and creepy, and 90% of it takes place in daylight. So that's really tough to accomplish. So, plus the premise is really cool. I don't know if you've never seen it. She's a young girl. She's like all gaga for this dude. So the dude ends up getting with her one night and fucks her in his car. Actually, he chains her to a chair.
Okay.
And he ends up fucking her. And here, what it is it's a sex curse. Like, this dude's cursed, and the only way you can get rid of it is if you fuck someone else and pass it on. Yeah, so like he don't want to die because you have an X amount of time. If you don't pass the curse on, they'll come. This monster will come for you and kill you. So you have X amount of time to pass the curse and fuck someone else and spread it. It's a really cool allegory for STDs. Actually,
that's pretty interesting.
It's a very unique premise. She was incredible for it. That's actually how she probably got famous, and they noticed her for the role of this.
Right.
But, yeah, it was great. There was lots of action. There was some decent gore.
So we're talking about. Are you now talking about The Stranger?
Yeah.
Okay,
No segue included here.
Yeah. Because I just want to
strap in, pay attention.
So The Stranger, it's on Quibi, and they're not to be confused with the Netflix Stranger. The Quibi is like 10-minute little episodes. So like, how many episodes were there? Like
13.
13. Okay. So you can basically watch it in one night, which is great.
Or
you can watch it like, if you're short on time, or like you're always like, oh, I want to go to bed early tonight, but I really want to watch a show. Like, this is perfect for that. Because you could get in like 3 episodes and then go to bed early.
Or if you have the attention span of a fruit fly.
This is true too.
I mean, it's good for you too. So.
But just to give not the story away, but to give you a little premise of what it's about, this chick moves to LA and she becomes an Uber driver, but they can't name it Uber, they call it Orbit or something, which is kind of funny. And she picks up this dude, and they start to drive along, and she thought he was an actor or something because he lived in this fancy house. And as they get to know each other, he is so not that, and he is pretty much a bastard. And wackiness then ensues. And I don't want to give too much away, but it is full of, it's packed with punches. And every episode, every 9-minute episode, ends on like a cliffhanger. So you're like, oh crap! Now I gotta watch it again. Watch some more. But it's very good. The acting's amazing. I couldn't even believe how good this show was. It's, again, big hit for Quibi. And I read somewhere that you would think in quarantine that this would be the great time to roll this shit out, and apparently it wasn't. I don't know, or people were just confused by it. I don't know. But
I think people were pissed off that they couldn't watch it on their television.
Maybe.
And that really turned a lot of people off. But
now you can.
Now you can. You can stream it on, if you have Chromecast for Apple, for iPhone. Or if you have, I believe, there's a way you could do it via, I think it's Google something.
Yeah.
But now it's fully castable to your TV.
Sweet.
Give it another chance, man. There's a lot of good shit on there. It's something for everybody. I've been revisiting MTV Singled Out.
Singled Out, yeah. They put a modern twist on it now. You have drag queens, you have gays, you have
straight.
Everybody.
Everybody's included.
And you have we had a trans person. I mean,
I have to say it's pretty entertaining though. I still dig it. So.
And it's very raunchy, like way more.
It's way more raunchy.
It's pretty funny.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It is.
But moving on, one of the coolest things I've seen this week. I don't think you've even seen this yet. They're starting to really start to hype the Candyman reboot again. Ooh. And if you actually go online, it's like a 5-minute little. It's like a puppet show. It's like it's like an art. Okay. Like they made it out of like construction paper, and it's done really. It's really good.
Huh.
Like it's really artistic and great, and like the puppetry is really amazing for what it is. So like go on YouTube and type that in and check it out, because it's really amazing. It's one of the coolest. It blew me away this week. Like so I'm definitely looking forward to that reboot. One of the things that actually I have to say, one of the funnest times I've had in a long time. I know Xtina was not a fan of it. I absolutely loved Scare Package. I'm going to talk about that actually next week. The director Aaron, I think it's Aaron B. Koontz. He was a producer and he actually directed one of the stories. He's going to be my guest next week. So I just wanted to talk about my love of Scare Package this week. It's an anthology, which I love. It's 9 stories, but 2 of them are actually wraparound stories, which I've never seen done before. But when you see how it works out, it makes sense. So, but I mean, it's a movie design that you have to be like the uber horror nerd to really fully appreciate, because it's so. I hate when people say this. It's so meta.
Oh God.
I hate even being a guy, but there's really no way to explain it. Like, it's so deep into the subconscious of horror. Like, it takes every trope that's used in horror, like every every stereotype, every stupid thing that's done in a horror film, and they play it for humor. So like each story is mocking. They don't miss a beat, man. There isn't one little single insignificant thing in a horror movie that they don't parody, and that's what I liked about you. I mean, it's for a casual viewer. I mean, I could see how it would be frustrating, but I have to say, I really, it's probably one of the funnest movies I've seen in a long time. I like the dude that played Rad Shad. The dude that actually plays the creepy guy hang out in video store is actually my guest next week. He was, like I said, Aaron B. Koontz. He's directed one of the stories. He actually is a producer of the film.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. So, I mean, check it out, cats. It's on Shudder now. Shudder's been just crazy, I gotta say. Other than that, I have to say I watched Hogzilla. That was a masterpiece in and of itself.
You're a fan of the Joe Bob Briggs drive-in show. He was livid. They tricked him, and they played Hogzilla. And if you don't know why that's a trick, he's the star of the movie. Yeah, well...
it was just so bad. Yeah. It's not even so bad, it's good. It's just so bad. So that was fun. I mean, did we watch anything else? I almost feel like that might be it.
Yeah, that might be it. We've been pretty darn busy lately, so
We really have. So, I mean, I wish we had more to talk about. I mean,
well, you watched the Slackers concert. That was pretty cool.
That was, yeah, you know what? That was great. I'd like to talk about that for a few seconds, Cats. I feel it was pretty successful. You know how much I love those guys. It was very strange seeing people perform in, masks.
Yeah.
But it didn't miss a beat, man. They were incredible.
Sounded amazing. Looked amazing. Huh.
Glenn Pine was not with them, though. He did a little something with the Agrolites before, and that was cool. But, yeah, that was really cool. I like that. Other than that, I mean, I plan on watching this weekend. Next week, I should have a review of You Should Have Left. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah.
The new Kevin Bacon movie, Haunted House movie. We'll definitely be talking about that a little bit. But like I said, we've been busy. Xtina, wish I had more to talk about this week. I think we should just get right to your Depravity Corner. Do you have a fucked up story to tell me this week?
You know, I do. I was thinking, like, I'm not up on my game. I'm not up on my crime news right now. But, did a little research, and lo and behold, it's a miracle what you can find, So, apparently, everybody's kind of uptight now about everybody wearing masks, not wearing masks. Everybody wants to fight about it, this and that. And, the worst place to be is in a hospital with all this stuff going on, So, apparently, what happened is, in New York, this woman, 86-year-old lady, she's in the hospital, and I guess she's in the ER. Little old lady, she has Alzheimer's to begin with, right? And so she's, I guess, wandering around. I don't know if she was supposed to be wandering around or not, but regardless, there was people walking around, and there was this girl there, 32-year-old girl, Cassandra Lundy, and she's hanging out at the hospital. I guess she had seizures. I don't know if she has epilepsy or what her deal is, but she was there for some seizures. And so they're in the ER. Picture it, there's this little old lady. And so this Cassandra, the younger girl, she's walking around. She has, how they attach you to, like, the IV. Mm-hmm. So if you're wandering, if you're going through the hallways, you got to push this thing along with you. So she's doing that. And this 86-year-old lady is coming along in the hallway. And again, keep in mind, she has Alzheimer's. And, she was losing her balance. And she, like, reached out for this girl's, like, IV stand to help her, so she didn't fall.
Yeah.
This bitch lost her ever-loving shit on this little old lady because she wasn't social distancing. And ultimately what happened was she knocked this woman to the ground. The woman, of course, hit her head really hard. And ultimately, unfortunately, passed away. Yeah. So now our friend here, Cassandra, is now charged with manslaughter.
Good. Fuck her.
And I thought, okay, I mean, maybe it's a one-off situation. People are kind of tense, and this girl was having seizures. She could have been scared too. I mean, not to say that you shove an old lady. That's never okay, right? But then I read into our friend here, I read into her past, and I guess her husband was there, and he said, that doesn't sound anything like her. She would never, push over a little old lady. Her criminal record says otherwise, folks. From what I have here, she reportedly has 17 previous arrests, including a 2016 accusation in which she had choked her 61-year-old boyfriend for not letting her invite her friends over for drugs, and a 2017 claim in which she punched a 54-year-old woman in the face. Yeah. So, the poor little old lady who was there with dementia, what is her name? Miss Marshall. She was there because she had a bowel obstruction, and they were trying to get her situated. So if that's not bad enough, she got pushed over because of some crazy bitch claiming she was pissed about social distancing. My guess is she needed to be in the mental ward of that hospital, perhaps. They had her diagnosed incorrectly. My hope now is that she goes to jail for a very, very, very long time. What do you think about that, Balls?
That's fucked up.
Would you push a little old lady over if she wasn't social distance?
No.
I mean, there are instances where,
No.
okay, you realize, like, what's happening, right? I mean,
No.
most people would, you know?
I would never.
Right.
I would kill somebody if I seen somebody do that.
Right.
That's so fucked up.
It is so fucked up.
People have no, like, fucking empathy or fucking, any sort of compassion for anybody anymore, especially the elderly. The elderly. People are just fucking vicious to old people, man. Like, people are ageist now, too. Like, I know race is a big deal now, but I think people are very ageist, too.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I mean, yes, I get it. You know, old people can be annoying. They're slow. They're this, they're that. But listen.
Yeah, but they're people.
Old people, you know, yeah, they're people.
They paved the way for us to be.
Exactly. And not only that, like, sit and talk to an old person sometime for an hour. I mean, it's amazing what you learn, what you find out. I mean, they are fascinating. They have, of course, a gazillion life stories. You know, even if they have dementia, they can entertain you with God knows what they're making up. But hey, it's entertaining. You know.
That's depressing, man, because one day you're going to be them,
Yep.
and people are going to treat you the same way.
And
And in
that's
your
scary.
mind, you're not going to feel like that,
Yep.
but the society is going to look at you like that. So it's a very sad
Very
thing.
sad and scary situation. So yeah, be kind to your elders. Don't kill people for not wearing masks. Don't even push them. Like, just if somebody's not wearing a mask and that bothers you, you could be at least like, hey, excuse me, you think you could put a mask on? But this situation was like
Completely different.
Yeah, you gotta. We do this all the time too. We're like the same person, literally.
I don't know who I feel worse for, you or me.
Well, you know, hard to say here. So anyway, Balls. Not much else to say about that.
That was pretty,
Pretty cut and dry.
Pretty cut and dry this week.
Keeping it simple.
We're gonna streamline this bitch this
That's
week.
right.
You know? Gonna give you the important facts.
We
Gonna
want to get to
the
this
goods.
interview. It's so good. We can't wait.
I am super proud of the cats. Greg Lee is a gentleman, as always. He is an incredible dude. I'm going to give you a little bit of setup here before we go into the interview. I've always loved Hepcat. Here's my big Hepcat story before we go here, before I forget. I've always been a fan. I loved them since their first album. I got this bright idea. You know what? I had a bunch of friends that liked them as well. So, back in the day, I odolayed it pretty good. So we were all afraid of getting DUIs. So I'm like, I got this fantastic idea. Let's rent a fucking limo and we'll all chip in, and then we can't get DUIs. We can fucking drink as much as we want and be as stupid as we want. Go to the show, do whatever we want, and party on the way home, and so we all chipped in.
Kind of jealous I never did this, but anyway.
It was fucking sweet, man. It wouldn't be the first time. I did it many times, and it's the way to go. If you're gonna, you have a couple buddies that have a couple bucks, and it's a lot cheaper than a DUI.
Right. Exactly.
So I had chipped in with
more fun.
I chipped in with 4 people, and it was like maybe $100
a person.
Yeah, like $115 a person. So what? We packed it with booze. We had a great time. Went to the show. It was fucking earthquake and fire. It was a Club Laga. I remember it like it was yesterday. Miss you, Club Laga. And after the show, lo and behold, man, we're hanging out downstairs by the limo. Fucking Greg Lee comes out and sees the limo, comes over and starts talking to us, and I was like, holy shit. And he was the coolest motherfucker ever, I have to say. One of the nicest people I ever met. Really laid back dude, and he was like, so me and my buddy at the time were like, hey, you want to kind of go hang out in the limo and,
partake in some,
in some herbal essence.
Herbal essence? I love that stuff.
And yeah, he was cool, man. So we got, I got baked with fucking Greg Lee. It was I still tell the stories today. It was one of the coolest moments of my life. Such a cool dude. And I have a picture of it I'll put up, and I'm blitzed out of my mind. It was great.
I still don't think I've seen this picture.
Oh, it's incredible. I had a great show, great time. he was a wealth of knowledge, man. He was talking about Alex Desire and different, Desire and all his different stories and fun things they did when they were on tour, and it was funny, man, because like I sent him the picture, and he still remembers to this day. I was the only person in Hepcat history who ever took a limo to one of their shows. He's like, I remember that. I remember that. It was back in the '90s, and I was like, wow, I was so fucking flattered, man. So it was cool. I sent him the picture. I'm gonna put that up. It was a great interview. You would talk a little bit about everything, man, like Hepcat and life in general. So I'm very pleased and proud to present all you Ska fans and otherwise this interview. I hope you enjoy it. We will see you next week where we'll be talking to the producer and director of Scare Package. So tune in then. Other than that, cats, check out this interview with the legendary Greg Lee. Hey now, cats, we're back again this week on the Balls from Ellwood show. And with me, I have a man who I grew up, and their music was super influential, super positive, and was always made a big impact in my life. I just want to introduce you, Greg Lee from Hepcat, and I've always loved these guys. Always a big deal. Thank you, sir, for being a guest. How you doing there?
Good, beautiful sunny California day.
I am great, man. I just want to let you know you were always a soundtrack to me growing up. I can't believe, like we were saying, I can't believe it's been this long. I mean, I look back and it's a finger snap, you know? Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But I wanted to ask you a little bit about, what it was like in the band and you growing up. Were you always into music growing up?
Yeah, pretty much. Since I was little, music was always around the house. You know, like I have 3 older brothers, a father in the music industry, somewhat. It was kind of the air we breathed.
So your parents were super supportive, I would assume.
Well, not necessarily, because I wasn't doing soul or disco or anything that they recognized as like real music. So it was rough going. You know, my dad would say things to me like, you know, I understand what your brother's doing, but I don't understand what you're doing. You know, at the Christmas table, and it would just totally sink my battleship. You know. But
that actually leads to me my next question. Can you think of that definitive moment where you fell in love with the ska genre, and like, have they ever become accepting after the fact?
No, I fell in love with ska before I even have like a real solid memory. Because my father worked in a studio in Alabama, and there's always different types of music. And when I first heard it, probably Toots and the Maytals, to me, it sounded like what I thought circus music would sound like. So I instantly loved it. I'm talking, 4 or 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And as I moved through life and progressed, these people actually visited the studio. These people, the music was actually played more. So it became like my little private thing because nobody else in my family was into it at all.
How did you end up meeting Alex Desert? Like, how did the band come to fruition?
Alex and I, it's funny, the link with Toots and the Maytals again. Me and my girlfriend at the time were at the Toots and the Maytals show at the Palace in Hollywood. I'll never forget it. And we were out front, and she, Nessa, was like, Greg, that's that guy from that TV show whose bedroom has like ska posters on it and stuff. And he dresses like a rude boy on TV. His TV show at the time was called TV 101. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. I'm gonna go over to him and tell him that I really appreciate him representing all of us on TV. So I'd go over there and I'm like, hey man, I just want to say I really appreciate what you do on TV. And he looks at me and goes, so, and walks in the club. And at the time I was like, nobody does that to me. Nobody. So I was like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna kick that guy's you-know-what, So I go charging into the Palace, and I bump into my friend Susie, who used to own a store out here called Die Laughing. And Die Laughing had like Docs and Fred Perry's and all the gear, patches, records. Bad Manners played there. And Susie stops me by my shoulders and she goes, wait, Greg, there's somebody here that you have to meet. you guys, I'm guessing are going to be like best friends forever. And all the while I'm looking over her shoulder, looking for this guy I plan to beat up, you know. And she turns me around by my shoulders, and I'm looking straight at Alex.
Oh man, that's a great story.
And then right on cue, Toots and the Maytals come on. Everybody just calm down. Boom. Next thing I know, I'm in front of stage dancing, and I look to my right, and he's next to me on my right. And I go, "What's up, man? What's up?" We've been friends ever since.
That's amazing. I love hearing stories like that. Growing up, what was your biggest musical influences?
Oh man, everything through the house. I think, you know, like something like Booker T and that type of style really like resonated in my head. But my brother, Tony, who's a bass player, musician, like all around, he was into rock, like Hendrix and Deep Purple and stuff like that. And though it kind of scared me, my brother was into it. So I couldn't help but try to get with it. But every time I'd put on one of those records in his bedroom by myself, I'd get kind of freaked out. And you have to understand, we're not a real religious family, but religious to the point where I thought if it had power chords, it was devil music.
Ah.
Yeah.
When you were putting an album together with Alex, like who brought what to the table? Like, what kind of influence did he bring, and what kind of influence did you bring?
Well, I mean, Hepcat works in a way that it's kind of like, you know, the old Ford factories, where like, you know, there's a line on a conveyor belt, and it's like 100 people, and one person puts the part, and the next person. It's kind of how Hepcat works. It kind of comes out as a raw material, a raw idea. And then it's brought into the fold of the band, and you'll see each person try to figure out their own part. And for the most part, over the years, we like it that way because it adds something more to a singular idea. It's kind of expected when you come into Hepcat that's kind of your thing. It's like, no, I gave you an idea for a horn line, but I want your idea for a horn line so that it sounds like yours. Every individual piece sounds like all 8 members of the band making a single sound.
That's amazing. Being in a band, let me ask you this: has it ever put any sort of strain on whether it be relationships or friendships or, you know, with loved ones? Does no?
Oh no, all of them.
I mean, how do you find that separation, that balance between the two? Is it difficult?
I'm still learning, man. Like it really sucked early on because early on it was like a majority of friends of the band who came to shows. The whole audience was friends, and that lasted. They came with us to every show. We felt really supported. But in the 90s, or not the 90s, but in those mid 90s, what everybody calls like the third wave, and they kind of, for whatever reason, they associate us with like Real Big Fish and all these other bands. That's a different thing, you know.
It really is. I mean, I mean, just anybody that listens to it, that's like comparing apples and oranges.
Well, no, I mean, not just sound wise. We're two different worlds. We were playing music for the love of music and just to be able to play the music.
Oh, I see.
A lot of those bands were actually focused on attaining a record contract and getting huge.
I see what the difference is.
Yeah, we just wanted to play music, and
for the passion, for like just the love of music.
Sure. So I lost my train of thought though. What was the question originally? Sorry.
Oh no, about it being a strain on your relationships.
So when this thing happened, when it got bigger, suddenly all these more people started coming, which was great. But I realize now a lot of our original friends felt kind of alienated and overwhelmed by the fact that there were like multitudes of people now with like Hepcat logos on their backs, and you know, it just became a little bit too big. So those friendships, you know, kind of suffered a little bit. And relationship wise, I mean, you can guess. It was just like one come, one go. Some people got married and stayed married the entire time. But it's been a learning experience.
Let me ask you this: did people treat you differently once you attain that level of fame?
well, level of fame is, it's kind of not sure if I want to use that word, but when it became known, like when people think of us now, they would talk about our contemporaries, meaning the specials or the Scotalites, who were like our heroes, So when we attained that, yeah, stuff changed. But there's like, I don't know if that's considered fame or that's considered you're doing what you do and you like doing it.
That's a good point. Who would be your dream person that you would love to play with yet that you have not?
Oh man, there's so many people that I never dreamt of playing with, and I did. And it's pretty mind-blowing when I think back through it. And I think the only way I was able to do that was never to try to emulate or put any one person up on a pedestal. It all came organically. Like, hey, you guys are playing this show in Hawaii, and guess what? Taj Mahal is going to be there. Like stuff like that. Hey, you guys are doing the Hollywood Bowl for Reagan night, and guess what? Tom Petty and Bonnie Raitt are hanging out backstage. So I feel like it's almost like bad luck to mention because maybe that person. Everybody's getting up in age. Maybe they might die. Maybe they stop touring. So I'll just leave it at there's a lot, and I hope for many, many more.
That's a solid answer. What does people in regular society nowadays do that annoys you?
That annoys me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, because of COVID, the spatial awareness thing, everybody's got to learn it. That one bugged me. People don't
I got to say, I'm the same way. I wish people would just listen. Like, it's such a simple thing.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad that people have become so selfish. I mean,
and also too, though, the number one thing that annoys me is that so many individual people out of the billions of people, I always tell my daughter this: if you could jump super high and look down in the area that you're able to see, there's like about 1 million people there. Every second one of those people think that they're more important than the other one. That to me is like, nah, I'm not down with that.
Yeah, it just makes me sad at this point. Like I honestly thought when this would happen, it would be a chance for people to hit the reset button and unify, and like help each other out, and pull each other through this. And it just it just shows like the worst representation of the human element. I mean,
I've seen both. It's not like I really have hope that the good will spread.
Mm-hmm.
I think jerky people are just raised jerky people.
Yeah, it's a sad reality, but I mean, it's there's good and then there's jerky. So I mean, hopefully we outnumber the jerkies.
I don't think that's possible.
I don't either, unfortunately. I'm kind of a pessimist. I should say. Hey, what would you be doing if you didn't have music in your life?
If I didn't have music, if I didn't do this whole Hepcat thing, keep constantly getting pulled away from my life, I probably would have finished school and been a marine biologist.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd be able to use that, but that's what I figure I'd probably be doing.
Can you tell me thus far, what was your best and worst experience playing with Hepcat?
Oh, gosh. The best, again, I'm a little bit superstitious, so I'll never say the best. I want to keep matching.
Okay.
The worst, there was a time where 2 songs into the set, like first time in my life ever, my back went out.
Oh.
Didn't even know it could happen to me. And it happened like 2 or 3 songs into the set in Pomona. And I spent the whole show trying to use the mic to stand up that, it keeps sliding down. And my back is so messed up, I can't even pull it back up easily. So I had to do the whole set that way. And then to get off the stage, it was like this, it wasn't like a ramp. It was like this stupid. So like I fell down and like.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was pretty gnarly.
I can't believe you made it through the whole set.
The whole set. But when they're like, yeah, let's do an encore, I was like,
no, I'm good.
one time where I actually have to call have to say no.
No moss. What's the best gift anybody's ever given you?
My mother for life, and being and the gift of just her being who she is, like the way she is gentle and kind, and made sure that me and my brothers and my sister are always aware of people. You don't walk by without saying hello. If you're looking at a person, you don't stare without saying hello. If you're looking at a person, you need to be prepared to say something.
Absolutely.
Things like that. And then, yeah, those are probably the best gifts ever given. My daughters, Elsa and Vivian,
That's awesome, man. What do people do too much of today, you feel?
Bullshit. Truth.
Good one.
Too many, like I said before, everybody tends to think they're more important than the next person, and they carry themselves like that, even though the person next to them might have known them their whole lives. They want to pretend that they are like a star. I live in Hollywood, so they want to pretend that they are a star or a princess or whatever, when really, they're pulling into the same one-bedroom apartment as the next person, and it's just, life's too short. If you want lofty, and if you have lofty goals, go get them. But getting them doesn't mean that you have to subject people around you to the way you think you're meant to be treated or carried above.
What's the best piece of advice anybody's ever given you?
Dave Hilliard, if you have diarrhea and you're in the middle of the sax solo, don't try to fart.
I just had Disco Dave on my show a few weeks ago. I love them guys, man. They're so good.
It makes me laugh every time I think about it. It never gets old, because I was standing there and I was like, that he said that because I said, what's wrong? He looked green, and I realized what he's holding, in his pants, because I could tell what happened.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Do you have a good shit your pants story?
Nope, I sure don't.
Oh, good. I'll tell
yet.
you, Steve Jackson of the Pie Tasters had the best. Nobody's been able to beat it since. Although I talked to Catbite a few days ago. Theirs was pretty close.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, fortunately I do not. I know Jesse Wagner from the Agalites, he talks about it happening to him a lot. I guess I clench or something.
Just lucky.
Lucky.
What inspired Hepcat's lyrics?
Relationships, they're not all necessarily like what actually happened. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of like us drawing a picture of a situation that we are imagining. Like the guy asking the girl, come on, dance with me. That's like, in our mind, it's like a little cartoon video. That's how we're able to write the rest of the song,
See, that's a lot of the things I like, is like lyrically, a lot of your songs paint this picture in my head, and I love that. Like, I love artists that do that.
Yeah, it's important to try to be very conscious of the fact that you want to create a visual as well as give somebody something real to dance to or enjoy on their own.
What led to Hepcat taking a hiatus?
What led to that?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there were a few different times and a few different reasons, but the number one was when Dave Fuentes, our bass player, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
That was one we weren't sure that we would be able to come back from. And we still kind of struggle with getting back to normal. We've never been the same after.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, you guys must become like family, I would imagine, because you're with each other so much. And even though, I mean, you're friends. I mean,
sure. But the irony of it was that Dave was the one kind of driving force of the band, who always, mm-hmm. his whole thing was, when everybody's fighting and arguing and there's chaos in the bus or whatever, he would be the one person that wouldn't say anything for hours, And then they'd say, Dave, what do you think? And Dave would just go, I don't know, man. I don't see why we can't just play. And that was all he said. And suddenly the argument's over. Everybody got their head on straight, and we're doing what we need to do. So having him be the reason that we stopped, I think, actually did his memory a disservice. And I still feel bad about that when I think of him, because he wouldn't have wanted us to just like, wander off and start kind of psychoanalyzing ourselves and our lives. He would have preferred that we just play.
What's something about you that your fans may find surprising?
I'm really goofy for the most part. Like, it's so funny when people after a show are like, oh man, come and hang out with us. We're going to go to this hotel room, blah, blah. I realize the second I walk in the door that they're expecting something else. I don't know what, but something else, because I could tell I've disappointed them. That's why I don't hang out after shows anymore.
Dude, I can honestly tell you hung out with me 20 years ago, and I was far from disappointed. Me, it was one of the best nights of my life. You don't remember, but you were infatuated that somebody took a limo to a Hepcat show. I in with 4 buddies, and we took a limo, probably because we wanted to drink and not get a DUI. But
I think I have a vague recollection of that.
I have a picture of us. I was trying to dig my picture out, and we're like 6 sheets to the wind, and you have your arms around both of us, and we're standing near the limo, and it was one of the best nights of my life, man. I have to tell you. So you're far from.
Gotta dig that out and send it to me. I'd love to.
I'm gonna try. I was trying to find it for tonight, but when I find it, I'll definitely send it to you. Let me ask you this: what's one thing that you can't live without, besides?
Go ahead.
Besides music.
My family. Not necessarily, because my immediate, former immediate family, my mother, my brothers, my sister, we're all pretty used to being separated for years. Oh, hey, welcome back. But like my daughters, Elsa, Vivian, Kalia, like it would tear me apart to not be able to be with them and see them.
Can you tell me what the craziest thing you've ever done on a dare is?
I jumped off a building once. I did a bunch of my brother's buddies were Marines, and so they had access to an airfield and a pilot, and they were all going to go skydiving. And I went skydiving by myself at roughly 12 years old. And that was kind of like one of their come on, man, come on, little man. And I did it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
more about this jumping off the building story. How did that happen?
Just stupid. Just, like you said, some number of sheets to the wind. Somebody told me I couldn't. You don't ever tell a Scorpio they can't, because I would. I walked away from it.
I'm amazed. That's pretty wild. If someone did a biopic on Hepcat, who would you want to play you?
I don't really know any contemporary actors or anything like that. I don't know.
What's something that you've tried but you would never try again?
Peyote.
Oh wow, yeah, I've heard people say that's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, it was not to say that it was bad for all those who are gonna try it. For me, it's just unless I'm living a lifestyle that allows me to be kind of half wild and in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-time thing for me.
Mm.
On the other hand, I think I'll probably do it again.
Mm. Yeah. What's one thing that if you found out they weren't going to make any more today, you would stockpile?
Sure. Well, I kind of already lost out on that. Stay Press. Levi's Stay Press. Every year, I don't think about. I mean, everything I'm wearing right now, they don't make anymore. The shoes that I have, these cop shoes, I've had to buy these off of Etsy and eBay for the past 20 years. But before that, they were in every surplus store. So I had no reason to think that they'd ever be gone. In one day, from one night to the next morning, first they were considered vintage, and then they're gone.
Man.
Now in California, you can't find them at all. So I don't even know now. I think everything that I'm worried about disappearing, I pretty much own. From Vespas and Lambrettas to, I have a BMW motorcycle. I drive a 78 International Scout 2. All these things are all like extinct dodo birds, but I keep them alive.
I got a couple more for you, man.
Go for it.
Do you have any messages of hope for people in this crazy time?
They'll have to listen for that in the music, but yes, I do. Always. You never hear a negative thing out of me, except for when I'm talking about a hypothetical relationship situation.
Last question, Greg. What lies in the future for you, and what lies in the future for Hepcat? Is there any chance of maybe reunion at some point, or any sort of new music?
Man, like I say, everything up until now has been a surprise and has been a blessing. And I honest to God, I honestly feel like very fortunate. And if not for not kind of marking milestones, I think they would have stopped. Like if I stopped to think, like for example, of who I want to play with and who I have, that's one of those I can get hit by a truck right now and be okay kind of thoughts, because I have, but I know because I never rest on those laurels and I don't really speak of it, it's going to keep happening. And if it keeps happening, the positive things keep coming out for me and hopefully for everybody who's listening.
Where can we keep in touch with you and see what's going on, or on your social media?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Hepcat has Instagram and Facebook. We're keeping it out there. And in fact, we were just talking a little while ago about possibly doing a live thing here, because a few people are separated by quite a lot of distances. And like Alex got stuck in New York right as it happened. He couldn't come back. So he's had to adjust a little bit from that. But I think everybody's pretty much up on the Zoom and acapella thing. So I think we're gonna maybe throw a couple of new songs up.
Very cool stuff, man. I would love to hear that. So
yeah.
I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. Like I said, you've always been a humongous influence in my life growing up, and I thank you so much. Your music means the world to me and many other people. So thank you, Greg. I thank you for being a guest. And I will just we'll keep in touch, and we'll see what's going on. We'll keep in touch, and we'll see what's doing. Hopefully, we'll see some acapella stuff soon. That's great news.
Right on, and you will. I think you will. I got to check. I have to check my Slack page and see if they've responded to my request. But I think
thank you for your time, sir. I really appreciate it. Peace and love.
Yeah. Pleasure's all mine. Have a great day.
You too, sir. I'm going to send you that picture when I find it too. Keep your
don't forget.
Stay in touch, man. Thank you, brother. I love you.
I love you too, man. Have a good one.
You too, man.